This is Big Business with Sarah, the podcast for entrepreneurs who want to continue building their business and understand you should never stop learning. In this episode, I'm talking to my coachee, Dorine Schoon. I am so happy that she is here right now, and she wants to talk about her journey for the past few months that she has emerged with me. Dorine is a freelance musician, entrepreneurial coach, and she will tell you so much more about it. Her music instrument is oboe, and I was a little bit afraid to say it the wrong way because in Dutch you say hobo. And she's really emerged. She's also the founder of a great platform for freelance musicians, which we will also talk about. And she is really changing the musical world from within in the Netherlands. Welcome to this studio, Dorine.
Thank you very much, Sarah.
Thank you so much for being here. How are you?
Yeah, I'm fine. Yeah, I'm good. It's not that warm anymore, so I'm happy.
Yes.
Not like, whoo. Yeah.
Yes. It's really the first day of autumn, actually. Yes. I mean, that's what it felt like. It was dark outside in the morning when I woke up.
Yeah, things are changing for the better, for good. So it's it feels like, let's start with things. It's a new season starting, so we can
That's true. So I'm going to share a strange secret that this morning I really wanted to go out for my little morning walk. And it was a little bit shorter because I wanted to be on time. And I was 5 minutes late actually for this interview. So there we go. But I was walking in the rain. I didn't take a shower before. And I was just totally drained, so much. I was so wet actually. And I loved it. I loved it being cold.
Yeah. So, get all this warmth out of the summer.
Yeah.
And it feels like starting anew. So it's new month, new season. So I'm looking forward actually.
Yay!
This year to everything that's coming. Yeah.
Yeah. So I just gave a little introduction on you, but maybe you want to elaborate a little bit more, or maybe tell us something about your career so far. When did you start?
So far,
because you started as a musician at a very young age.
Yeah. Yes, I did. I think I was 12 or 13. I went to the Conservatory of Amsterdam to study music next to my high school. I'm
sorry to interrupt you there, but I think that's so incredible. So you went to high school part-time, I guess? And then you also studied already, or how did that work?
Yes, I did. Yeah, first in Amsterdam at the conservatory, and then so I did it next to my high school. So I did full-time high school, and then after 1 year, I found that at the Royal Conservatory in The Hague, you could combine your high school. There was a high school in the building.
Perfect.
So I get my high school diploma there and studied at the conservatory. And then, I did my bachelor, I did my master, and I worked as a freelance musician, as an oboist. And I played a lot already. I also, started working during my studies at the conservatory. And I loved it. Being a musician is... it's very it's tough, it's hard, but also amazing. You meet so many people, musicians around the world. You get to play in orchestras, in ensembles, in musicals. You being on stage and travel around the world. So
I mean, that sounds really, really incredible. And when I was growing up, for instance, I'm part also grown up by my grandmother, and she always played classical music. Was it the same for you? Was that the reason why you wanted to, or were you just really good?
I don't know. I mean, when I was young, it was very normal to. I think I was 8 when I started playing the oboe, but it was already very normal to play an instrument, to choose. You choose a sport and you choose to be an instrument. At least in how I was raised, but also in my class, everyone did, and I chose the oboe because everyone chose or the flute or the saxophone, and I wanted to do something different. But it was not that. Yeah, I was raised with a lot of classical music or something. No, I think it started because I went to my local wind band. So I started to play at a young age in an orchestra. So that helped me a lot so I was not alone playing the instrument, but playing together with other people. That was and still is, that's the nicest thing about being. Yeah.
Yeah. And so for everyone who doesn't know this, and this includes myself. So for instance, if you're, being asked to do a play or no, sorry, that's not how you call it, to do a composition, to play a composition, for instance, what's right behind you, people who are watching on YouTube can see this, West Side Story. How does that work? Because you probably already know the composition, probably already, but you have to practice by yourself or with the group, or how does that work? Could you tell us a little story on how that starts?
Well, sometimes the composition. Okay, how it works. I get a phone call and can you play? Can you do this concert or this theater piece or whatever, where they need an oboist. And sometimes the piece, but sometimes you don't. And well, in both cases, you need to study and prepare, because it is a very high level here in Holland. I also need to prepare the pieces, of course, but I also need to be in shape.
Yes, is it like sports?
Yes, it is, because if you play less, you immediately feel it you have a lot of muscles here and in the lips,
your mouth,
also in your mouth, but also your total well-being, total body in your condition. It's very hard work to play the oboe. You have this it's a wind instrument, so you blow it, and there's this little tiny reed where all the air needs to go through. So
blow really hard. I don't know how to say it in proper English, but it's clear. But I love that. So you're preparing that, and do you prepare at home?
I prepare at home, and if you play in orchestras, of course you have rehearsals together. So then you go to the rehearsal studio or whatever they rehearse. But you prepare a lot at home.
And so you prepare by reading the notes or actually playing?
Both.
Yeah. I think that's so interesting.
Listening to music, get inspired. I prepare my reeds. I play on reeds with an oboe, so I'm making them myself. And practice.
Interesting. So you've done this for, I think, about 10 years or something professionally. What did
Professional?
you?
Oh no. I started when I was 18. I think I had my first professional gig.
Wow.
Like really big gig. So, oh my God, 20 years.
20 years.
Okay, so now you know my age.
Yes. No secrets here in Sarah Big Business. So you did this for 20 years. And a couple of years ago, and actually it was before that you have, there was something that was keeping you from, well, I mean, maybe you should just explain it yourself. There was something about fair pay that you didn't think was very fair, or just about the pay that you didn't think was fair. It's very difficult as a musician in the Netherlands, but I guess also worldwide. You should elaborate on that, to make ends meet. So maybe you could elaborate a little bit on that, how that journey has started for you and where you're now.
Well, like I said before, it can be it's very nice to work as a musician, but it can be very hard too, because it's very difficult to get a steady job, so get a steady income stream. And
you mean at one orchestra?
At one orchestra, for example, or at one ensemble. So most of the musicians in the Netherlands, they work as a freelancer, and they work like everywhere. They do different kind of things. At a certain point, when I was getting older, I was like, will this be it? Can I grow in income as a musician? Can it be more, or is this it? Because I had a feeling I was already at a certain point. I worked a lot of for a long time already as a professional oboist, and
on a high level,
on a very high level. And then I thought, okay, of course, there are always things to explore and to improve as a musician. But then I thought, how can I improve as a freelancer? So not only as a musician, but as an entrepreneur, freelancer, how you call it. And then I thought, wow, this is very hard, because we have we get paid a certain amount, a certain how do you call it, tariff rate. And it's not getting higher. Well, I'm getting older. It's not getting higher. And at a certain point, you're getting older. So maybe you want to buy a house, so you need a steady income, because otherwise you don't get a mortgage and things like that. Maybe you want to have children. And then I thought, wow, how am I going to do this in my life? Can I reach when we have our pension or something? I was not even thinking about about getting older and how I would pay things when I'm old or when I'm getting sick.
Because with the money that you earned, you worked very hard as a freelancer. You took many jobs. It was unthinkable to be able to set something aside for your pension, because the rates are so low.
Yes,
right?
That's very well said. Yeah. And I started thinking about that, and I noticed that when I would speak about it, everyone was like, no, don't speak about it, because you should be happy that you can work on this level as a musician. So don't make a fuss about this kind of things, because maybe people or employers or they think you are a bit of a
rebel.
A rebel. So be a bit quiet, because otherwise they won't ask you anymore.
So you spoke to other musicians about this. Do you have the same feeling? And they advised you, please hush. Yeah, it's okay. You just get a rich husband or a rich wife, and you're good.
But I also noticed that there was this urge to speak about this kind of things, but there was a big fear about it. So that's when I started a Facebook group, like a closed, secret Facebook group. And I thought, well, let's see. I invite all my colleagues, like, okay, maybe we can speak about this kind of things in a safe environment. And well,
I love that.
Yeah. So I started things like, well, are you happy with your job? How it's going now? Or do you want to grow? How can we change things? How do you change things? Or do you think everything is fine? And so we started having all these conversations in a safe environment. And that started to grow. Everyone was so happy they could finally speak about things they were. It was already for a long time
bugging them. So you opened the conversation in a private setting online, and right up until this point, because you're talking about the build up to the platform for freelance musicians.
Yes. Yeah.
When did you start that?
Yeah, this was the beginning of the platform for freelance musicians. So I thought, okay, I can do this maybe more professional. Maybe this is my way to grow. How can I help from the inside out? Not as a musician, but from the inside. How can we change?
Yes.
And then I met my colleague Caroline, and I studied with her in The Hague at the Royal Conservatory. And then we thought that she already organized. She a sort of union at the unionized at the Dutch National Opera. She unionized the freelance singers over there. So we had a coffee, and then we thought, like, okay, we can work together. I can do the singers, and maybe you can do the instrumentalists, and let's see what happens. Let's start a platform for freelance musicians. That was the name. So and
that's
then
4 years ago.
I think that's around 4 years ago. Yeah.
And what happened since then?
Wow, a lot of things happened. I don't even know where to start, but at a certain point,
maybe 3 highlights, or maybe one thing that was really bad, and a couple of highlights.
Okay, well, the first highlight definitely was my big interview for a Dutch national newspaper about working conditions in orchestras and how much freelancers get paid. And it was also about lunch concerts in the famous Concertgebouw that musicians got asked to play there for free for their exposure.
Yeah.
And there was a big interview about it, and then things exploded. Everyone was so or they were so angry that a famous hall like the Concertgebouw wouldn't pay their musicians to play there. But also I felt also a sort of relief that finally this was out in the open.
Yeah.
This huge problem, like freelance musicians are having a very hard time because of the low rates. Of course, they have their passion for music, but you cannot live by passion alone. So that was a huge interview. And then later, of course, Corona changed everything.
Yeah.
Freelance musicians couldn't work anymore. They weren't allowed to work anymore live. They couldn't give concerts. Concert hall were closed. As a musical teacher, you couldn't teach anymore. That was a very hard time. So we did a lot of our community, I call it community of freelance musicians. So where the subsidies were, how you could get work, or how you could get an income, and all this.
Actually really help people. Yeah.
Really help people by all these rules that were going on. And what did we do more? And we that was actually a nice thing. It was an April Fool's joke.
Yeah.
I made it a press statement. How do you call it? Press release. And we said, okay, since today, freelance musicians they have to earn a fair rate for their work. And with all the unions and with the Dutch government, we set this rate. At a certain point, I thought it was like 97.83 or something for an hour. And we had a press release about that, and then everyone was like, wow, that's very good that you did this, and oh, amazing, my life will change. But also very angry comments. I received a lot of bad in my inbox was full of like, I can never ever pay this, how could you do this? And I also got an interview on national radio about this. Like they wanted to interview me, and I was like, oh my God, but it was April Fool. It's April Fool's Day. How could you not know? Of course, this is a joke. But
and you didn't say it because you told me this story before. You didn't tell them. You entered the studio, and they had no idea it was April Fool's.
Yeah, so they asked me all about this situation for freelance musicians. So in a way, it was a very good situation. So I could explain how freelance musicians are working. And then at a certain point, I was like, but it's April Fool's today. So they still don't get a fair pay for what they do.
I think that is so incredible. We were doing our graduation here 1.5 weeks ago, and I asked both Pauline and you to share a 10-minute topic on something that we have to learn from each other. And you told us this story, and I think it's such an incredible one. And so, we might all do a little press release on April 1st next year. So be prepared. And you can do this too if you're listening to this podcast and you're thinking, actually, maybe a good idea.
Do a press release about your dream.
Yeah.
Like, and you finally got it.
Yeah.
You finally reached your goal. So do a press release, please. And if it's not true, then you do it on April Fool's Day. Let's see how people react. It's very cool. Yeah.
I love that. So you've done such great things with the platform, and you've really helped a lot of people. There's 4,000 people now signed up. And so really, really changing the system from within. And, that's really the only way, I believe. And so right now you're currently at another shift in your career. Could you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, the whole platform for freelance musicians changed already a lot. And then Corona came. So also my work as an oboist became less and less and less. Also, people didn't really like what I was doing for freelance musicians, what I was doing for the labor market in the cultural, in arts and culture. So I got also less opdrachten, less assignments, less
clients.
Work. Yeah. So I thought, okay, I want to change the labor market, the work conditions, the rates. I want to improve life for freelance musicians so they could do their job, so they can just play music and not think about being in poverty or don't have money. And so Corona for me was maybe the last,
the final drop.
Maybe I needed to really change my business in okay, I want to improve this for freelance musicians and I want to put a lot of time in that. So maybe the oboe will be on I still play, not as much as I used to do. Yeah.
And you just told us that you always, need to keep on rehearsing, training, practicing to keep up. So it's actually been, it has been a choice actually to leave the oboe aside. Very big part of your life since you were 8. So actually already 30 years, and you're really saying goodbye to this. But I think it's going to be for an even better cause and helping more people, creating that impact. And what I like about what you're saying is that Corona has been also very much a game changer for you. There were already some signs from, I don't know if you believe in that, but from the universe telling you this is not right. Those rates are really, really bad, and I can't keep up. And then Corona was really, for me, Corona was also very much a game changer. And I thought, you know what, I cannot depend on just one income stream anymore. It's very, very unstable, and that's not how I want to run my business. So you've had that insight too.
Yeah.
And then, so what happened? So, of course, I'm saying that you're my client, so you worked with me, but what happened before that? When did you decide, okay, now I really have to change something? And how did you come to the decision to invest in coaching?
I thought I cannot be part of a system I fight against. So I need to change things, but I'd never really learned how. So I thought, okay, but there must be people who can help me with that. So I try as much as I can to surround me with people who inspire me and can help me. So and I saw you already, I think on Twitter, on the socials. And then I thought, okay, I think this is what I need. Because I was convinced that I needed a coach who also knew the arts and culture sector here in Holland. Now I think maybe it's not that important, but then I thought, okay, I want to go to Sarah because she also knows how it is, and she knows a little bit how that works. So I don't need to explain everything.
Right. So I wouldn't say, just you convince them, just no, I know how it works. That's not a right coaching direction. No, I shouldn't say that. Yeah, that's true. And I understand that. And you know what, it's so funny because I knew of you already for such a long time because you were so visible, and we follow each other on Twitter, I think already for really
long time.
A long time, I guess. Yes. So and what I always liked so much about you is that you're so vocal about your situation, and I'm really seeing you as an activist, and but also really an activist who really changes things, you know, not just someone who's just screaming from the rooftop saying everything is bad, but also really intentionally changing that. And that's why, to me, you were also my ideal client, because, you know, what I really like is people who want to make an impact on the world, change it. You've already done it. And the thing is, you just need the tools to get there.
Yes. Yeah. And that's what I really liked also about your coaching. And that's also what I really wanted. What can I change myself? Because I'm convinced that if I change, I can change the world around me. And of course, what I see in my business, and I think it's not only in arts and culture, everyone is looking to the other person or to the government or to, and of course, I understand, but it needs to come from both sides. So what every day you should ask yourself, what can I do to change the situation I'm in? And sometimes it's very hard. And sometimes it can be, really nice to just blame the government for just to blame. I understand. And sometimes they make not very good decisions for you, but then still think, okay, but how can I change this for the better? So use this anger. I can be very angry. I started to use my anger to change things. Okay, what I don't like. So that's why I decided I cannot be an oboist anymore. How I used to work, because I don't like this system I'm in. I don't want to work in an environment where there's a lot of fear, where there's a lot of anger, and I don't get paid well. They don't see my worth, you know?
Yeah.
So, but what I do like about musicians and arts in general is the creativity. I want to work with people who are inspiring and creative and look for different solutions, other solutions, and are daring, they dare to fail also. I love to fail in a way. So let's try things and go and learn. So and then I thought, okay, if I don't want this anymore, I shouldn't be part of this system anymore.
Yeah.
So when I'm playing now, when I do a gig, I do that because I love the people I'm working with. I get a fair amount of money, and I can change the world with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's so powerful. You know what? I think that the culture, arts and culture are losing also so many people right now, you know, because there's a big shift, you know, everywhere in every sector. There is happening, you know, the great resignation, and it's not as great as in America here. But I mean, it's very difficult for people, for employers to find you know, people to work for them. And but the same goes actually for the arts and culture sector. You know, of course, if you're leaving people 2 years, you know, just left to their own accord, yes, I mean, then they choose something different. But you actually didn't. And I think, you know, you're saying that you don't want that anymore, but you're actually still very much aligned with arts and culture. You're really, you know, even though it has let you down a few times, it's not stopping you from your mission. And I think that's incredibly strong.
No, because I really believe that arts and culture is the way to get now
It's
I'm
the
being
best.
very big. No, but also to change the world for the better. That's the way. That's how people. I teach also a lot, also to young children. I see what it can do to make music together, to get yourself, that you can really be yourself, and what it can do to people when they can really put their inner. It's very hard to explain, maybe, but I see. Well, we all see what music can do.
Of course, no, definitely, no, I agree with you.
Yeah. So that's why I think the people who are making music, if you're an amateur or a professional, so the professionals who are making, they need to get a fair pay and fair working conditions and safe working conditions. And I think everyone deserves that, not only in arts and culture, but
definitely.
This is my my field. And of course, because musicians should only make music and not worry about things. And they should improve the world with their music. So, and I think they can do that.
So if you're listening to this, I wonder if you're feeling the same enthusiasm and sparkle and energy coming from Dorine. I think it's incredible. I guess everyone is hearing that. And I think that's such an important one, so I have this one model that you've worked with, Dorine, the product tree, and that's really coming from, what is within you, and then, kind of branching out with all your products and services and everything. And I think you already found it before we worked together, but you're really, working even harder and more on that and building that foundation. And also what you said in the beginning of this statement is that you really want to take radical responsibility and not blaming others for your situation. Of course, sometimes you can have a bad day. We all have those. I think, I woke up this morning at 6. I don't know why. And so I took this walk in the rain.
It's very dramatic.
It sounds very dramatic. I have so many calls today, but they are all very nice. I love this interview, but I know that this afternoon I'm going to take a lovely bath and just really, soak up in not in self-pity, but just really relax and enjoy. And it's okay to not always want to fight for.
Oh yeah, take care of yourself. That's the most important thing. Yeah, of course.
Yes, that too. So I wanted to talk about because what I like so much about you, and that's one of the quotes. I'm not sure if you like this, but one of the first things that we did. So you first did the 3-week intensive. That's where we worked privately, and then you joined the mastermind. And part of the program was the Big Business, Big Life workshop. That was the 3-day workshop. And it was on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday at 5. And I remember, you were very active and proactive during the workshops on Monday and Tuesday, and then Wednesday, you were not there.
Oh my! I was wondering what was coming now, but yes, I wasn't there.
I'm not going to share your deepest, darkest secrets, but I loved it because 2 or 3 hours later, I received a message. Oh, Sarah, I'm so sorry. I fell asleep because I was doing the 100 things I love.
Yeah, I actually fell asleep. I think I was watching a movie with my daughter, so I had quality time with my daughter. And I fell asleep because I was so tired. But it was on my list of 100 things I like to do, and it was, of course, spend time with my daughter. And
but I loved it so much that during the workshop, most people, apply it maybe 1-2 weeks later, but you just did it mid-workshop. You just decided, okay, let's just put everything into practice, right? I know it. But, that's one of the things that I love so much about you, is that you were you transformed really, really quickly, actually, in the process. And you were like, no, you already felt that radical responsibility because you already did a lot of things, but you really also embraced the concept of abundance and, not thinking from scarcity, because you do believe that there's more out there. You always believe that, but maybe you want to elaborate a little bit more on that.
Because I see there's this sort of mantra that there's no money in arts and culture. There's no money, and so that's why I should work, because this is very important work what I do, and it's my passion. I want to show the world, so don't pay me because I will do it anyway. And that's not true. It's just not true, but everyone is starting to believing that. And that's what I mean with, okay, start to change yourself, ask what you're worth, and then it will change around you. And of course, people will say, well, I don't have this money and I cannot pay you, so you won't get this gig or you won't get this.
Well, you have had this the past couple of months.
Yeah, a few times already. And but I cannot do what I did if I want to change. So because then I will get what I got.
Yeah.
Do I say this one? Yeah.
I think we get it. Yes.
Yeah. So no. It's I want to decide what my working conditions are. I'm a ZZP'er. I'm self-employed. So this is what I am. This is what I can offer. This is what I can do to help. And this is what it costs. And of course, we can talk about it. But no, it's not anymore like, oh, I get an email. Can you come to Groningen for 100 euros to play with my orchestra? Yeah. Well, I love to, but no, not for 100 euros.
No.
You see, and
No.
that. So, what was the question again? That's what I learned. There is money, and especially in the cultural field where there are a lot of subsidies, and I see from the government there is money. It's just not going to the right places, and we should get this. There is money. Trust me, there's a lot of money.
There was one insight that you shared with us on Voxer. So for the people listening who don't know what Voxer is, it's like a WhatsApp audio. And my coachees have daily access Monday to Friday to me, but also to the entire group, so the mastermind. And you shared one story with us about a gig, and you shared a great insight. And you said they have no money, but they choose not to have money for it.
Yeah,
and I think that's such a strong insight. Is yes, of course, you are scraping by. I mean, we all know. I mean, arts and culture is not, I mean, maybe it is $1 billion industry. I don't actually know exactly
also,
how much. Yeah. Yes, in the Netherlands,
can be.
Yeah. So right, it can be, but it's also really about putting the money in the right places, as you're saying, and investing in skills of people also in managerial positions, but also of the musicians, of course, or anyone really who works. So for instance, one thing that I'm noticing currently is that the cultural sector is having trouble in the Netherlands to attracting new their audiences. Because of COVID, all the theaters and museums were closed, open, closed, open. So it's very, you're not very much in the habit anymore of visiting a cultural institution. I myself I'm also a little bit lacking currently because, it's out of my system. And it is coming back, but it was taking a while for me to get back in the field. And I'm thinking, yes, but there are so many ways to attract new audiences. And there was how do you say it? A research done by the Arts Council of the Netherlands, and they said that digitalizing is very, very important, but we shouldn't work with YouTube. And I'm like, yes, but YouTube can be a great lead generator. So, the knowledge of the sector on how to get a bigger audience, and getting a bigger audience means more money, means more engagement, means more political engagement also, which means more subsidy. So, I mean, that's it. Invest in your people, invest in the skills, and pay them well. I think that's where it starts.
That's where it starts, and that's what was in the same research, because they don't pay their people very well, so they cannot invest in this digitalizing.
No.
So that's what they also said, like, pay your people so you can invest. And I think that's the best advice. Invest in everything you can. There's so much to learn, not only for me as an entrepreneur, but also for all this organization. Invest. There's so much to do. And it's fun also to learn and to change things, and to, what I said before, it can also be even fun to fail. Well, no, that's not really fun always, but you always learn. You can change things, and you can be better, and you can improve. So, and that's my journey now at the moment. And a lot is uncertain still, of course. And of course, sometimes I miss playing in orchestras, of course. But it doesn't help. I want to look forward and not behind. I can look behind and look at my career as an always like, oh, I did all those things. It's actually amazing. I met all these people. I played these pieces. I played with famous conductors in famous concert halls. Yes, I did. It's not that I missed something.
No.
Not that I still want to reach this with oboe. No. Now I want to, my goal now is a fair pay for everyone who is working in arts and culture in a safe environment.
Yeah. No, definitely. And, also thinking that you can't fail is very much a scarcity mindset. And feeling in abundance, working in abundance is really about trying everything, testing. We've also worked a lot on agile working, just do it quick and dirty, see what happens. If it doesn't work, and the first test, see how people react. Okay, it doesn't work. All right, goodbye. And then change change it and do something else. And so that's a way of working that I really wish for many people, because I mean, to me, this was really an eye opener that I thought, oh my, why did I always spend years and years on plans and research before I ever did it? And then I didn't do it, of course, because, money was gone, or I was, doing another project.
Yeah, I totally recognize this. I was always waiting for the right moment.
Yes.
Or waiting, oh no, first I need to do this course, or first I need to have a good website, or first my website is still not finished.
No, I was wondering.
and I want to have a newsletter, and I want to have good photos. You're always waiting.
Yeah.
And that's that's what I really now learned also from you, of course, that okay, don't wait. Sell it and do it. Yeah.
Yes, and also be proactive in contacting your clients and, really helping them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Incredible. So is there something that you want to, because I think we touched upon all the things that I wanted to ask you. Is there still something that you want to share with me and my listeners?
Oh, yeah. I want to say to everyone who is listening, you don't have to do it alone.
Yeah.
But there are so many people who can help you or inspire you. So just start to read, get in contact with people maybe you don't even know, but just send them a message. It's so easy nowadays with social media. Yeah. You can get in touch with everyone and just start. I want to just start. And if you don't know how, get a coach or ask for advice, go to people you admire, ask questions, dare to fail.
Yeah. And it also has a lot to do, I guess. So I'm speaking to so many people, and I think with you, I mean, I think you're good with that, but it also has a lot to do with self-worth. You are worth it. You are worth investing in yourself. And I think that you already, I don't have to really tell you, but if you're listening, and it could also start with something easy as just reading a book. It shouldn't have to be super expensive. There's 1,000 free blogs, podcasts. You're listening to one right now, but it shouldn't be, one of us. It could be anyone that you listen to and that you're thinking, what, this is really changing my life. And I am in charge. Life is very short.
Actually, I'm learning a lot at this moment from to follow people on social media, on LinkedIn or Instagram, or I think I learned even more than the past years. Yeah. So read.
It's not too late.
No, of course, no. It's never too late.
No, it's never too late, and that's also the thing. Even if you've had, your career, you have had such an incredible career, 20 years of time, and you are, changing your career at this moment, and it's so exciting to talk to you, in the midst of your pivot, actually still, and currently you are coaching. Did we talk about this? You're coaching people right now.
Yeah.
We should talk a little bit more about this.
Yeah, I'm helping freelance musicians to also to make this change and to go after your goals, to work on that, and I help them to reaching their goals and how they can do that. Yeah. So it's very nice, but not only freelance musicians, also organizations, orchestras. Yes. So I give them advice and coaching, and can sometimes be very confronting for them and for me too. But it's nice because then you attract also people, of course, who want to make this change. Yeah. So I have the feeling I really work together for their goals, but it's also my goal to
Yes, you're actually creating a compound effect. Yes, and what I think is so interesting is that you know musicians so well. You know exactly, because the first question I asked in this interview, how does it work? How do you do the rehearsal? I don't know those things, but you do. So so you can really help them. Think with them. What is their game plan? What is coming from within them, and also help them reach their goals, and not just say goodbye to arts and culture full stop, but actually help them change the system within. And by that, your impact is so much bigger because you are helping the people.
Yeah. And that's what
So
I also
smart.
What I hear a lot from my clients, but like, because you are a musician, so you know how it is.
Yeah.
And it's not that we started crying it's together. No, of course not. But it can be different, because I get a lot of clients who first go to the UWV, or they had a standard business coach, whatever, and they were like, it's still, I don't feel it, and you know how it is, so you know this field, and so you know this field so well, so you can help me. And it's true. Yeah.
And there is also a national funding for this in the Netherlands. You can get 1/3 of your coaching with Dorine or with me.
With you,
through Werktuig BPO. I'm sorry that it's in Dutch, but I'm not going to translate that one. And you can most of the time. I mean, I think that's one of the things that I like about some of the new laws that has or subsidies that started because of COVID, because there was so little help for freelancers, actually no help, but that the help that is here is education and investing in your skills. So I mean, that's I mean, I really, really liked working with you and having this interview with you, and I'm so much looking forward to everything that you're going to do the upcoming few months, and you should we should keep in touch, and also maybe in some time have an update on how it's going and how many lives you've changed, and maybe not on April Fool's Day, but an actual press release that you managed it.
I don't think I can do a press release now anymore. But
you always can. Abundance, everything is possible.
No, but it was great working with you, Sarah. I always say there is a life before Sarah and there is a life after Sarah. No, but really, and
I love that.
So tell at home, since Sarah is in my life, I change things. But actually, it's true. It's really true. And I want to say to everyone, if you are doubting if you have doubts, don't just try. You can also go to Sarah, and it's not so much money. I mean, you can also start following her on Instagram. It's so much value already.
Thank you.
Yeah, but there are so many ways to work together. So don't think in abundance, not in scarcity.
Yes.
So just do it.
Yes. Just do it, take action, and also follow your heart.
Yeah.
That's it. And that's also what you're really doing. And not just follow your heart, but also get paid for it. Very simple.
Yeah, of course.
Thank you. All right. I'm going to say goodbye to the listeners. Dorine, you can stay here for a second. And I really want to thank Dorine Schoon for this lovely interview. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. I really, really loved it. And Dorine joined the mastermind the last round, and the doors are open today. Actually, you can still join until September 28th. I would very much like to welcome you inside. And if you want to contact Dorine, you can find her Instagram handle here in the description of the episode. I will put that down for you. And also, maybe her website. Maybe it's a good reason to. It will air next week, Dorine. A little bit of pressure. She's glad that she's not being coached anymore. I'm sorry. No, thank you so much for listening, and I hope you have a happy day, and talk to you next week.